Welcome to Beyond the Arc. I'm John Gonzalez alongside our NBA insider, Bill Reiter. Bill, what a finish to the season. Really went down to the wire there. That was fantastic.
Oh my! You know what? That was like a pre-play and play-in. So
It
that was
really was.
basically a play-in game before the
Yeah,
play-in. That was great.
it's been like that for a minute now. Later in the show, we'll do Eastern Conference playoff matchup talks. We'll discuss play-ins. We'll do team of the night. But first, a wild final day of the regular season. 4, 5, 6, and 7 going into today were up for grabs between the Nugs, the Clips, the Warriors, and the Wolves. Now, the Wolves beat Utah as expected. The Nugs beat the Rockets, who are resting everybody as expected. So, Bill, it came down to really the Clippers and the Warriors, and they put on a classic. I went into overtime. Kawhi missed a shot that could have prevented it from going to overtime. And then Kawhi was quiet in overtime. Harden and Curry went crazy. But a couple of things happened in overtime where the Clippers ended up winning that game and ended up with the 5 seed, and the Warriors slipped to 7. Jimmy took a knee to his knee area. He was limping around, and there was a huge miss by Draymond that could have tied the game. And then your Clippers, Bill, are now the 5 seed. They'll play the Nuggets in the first round.
Also, producer Aaron, who's a Warriors fan, I could hear him screaming from the valley when on the final play of the game, Steve Kerr, let's get the ball in Buddy Hield's hands. Like, let's draw up a play that puts the ball in Buddy Hield's hands. I mean,
they got a shot off there, which
was it a shot? Does that qualify? It was a bad shot.
It wasn't a good shot, but okay, so let's game this out because everybody knew that they were trying to get it to Steph. And if they just get it to Steph and he isn't in a shooting motion, or if whoever gets the ball in the inbound isn't in a shooting motion, they're going to foul him, and it's going to be a 2 shots instead of 3. I hear what you're saying, though.
You like the Buddy Hield play call by Steve Kerr. That was the play to draw up, huh?
Well, you're trying to get a 3 off so that you can tie the game. Otherwise, you're going 2 for 3, and you're probably out of time.
All right.
I'm saying I understand.
I don't hear an answer. I don't hear an answer.
My answer is I understand why they tried to run a play that was sort of like a decoy thing, because they figured they were going to get an open shot from somebody else rather than a contested shot or not even a shot from Steph Curry, at which point you're putting him on the line. It's bad both ways. My answer is bad both ways. Yeah.
I guess like yeah. I mean, there were some opportunities at the end of the fourth. Whatever. It was a great game. Both teams and I kept finding myself thinking that you could have drugged me and woken me up and told me that this was a conference finals game 5 or a second round game 6 or 7, and I would have believed you. Both teams. I know we're going to do this later in the week. Both those teams are really good, man. I mean, those are good basketball teams.
Those are good basketball teams. It was an incredibly entertaining game. Just from a neutral perspective here, just from a consumption and an entertainment standpoint, I texted you and Aaron that I was hopeful that the Warriors would win, because first round matchup of Lakers Warriors and Nuggets Wolves sounds like a lot more fun to me than Nuggets Clippers and Wolves Lakers. I'm sure that the other series will be good. They'll be good. I'm just saying, like, first round of Steph and Jimmy and Draymond, well, who knows now, Jimmy, but against Luka and LeBron would have been fantastic. And now we'll see what happens. The Warriors are now in the play-in as the 7th seed. They will host the Grizzlies on Tuesday night. So many different ways that we can go in this, Bill. Do we start with the victors, or you want to talk about the Warriors and some problems that popped up in overtime?
Well, let me respond real quick to what you just said, and whichever way you want. I hear what you're saying. Am I a weirdo that I'm excited about Denver Clippers, because I think the winner of that series is going to push the Thunder, man. Like that's whatever team wins that series, if they remain healthy, is going to have a little confidence, a little swagger. So
let's talk about it, because I think, you know what, I'm going to be entertained by whatever product is out there, whatever matchups, and we're getting Denver against the Clippers. And the Clippers, there are some compelling storylines to that one, because I think you're right. I mean, Oklahoma City, it's not going to be easy. They're still going to be the favorites in the Western Conference, but whoever they ended up drawing today, and now it'll be the winner of Clippers and Denver, was going to be difficult. Denver, having fired their coach and general manager, that still has the best basketball player in the world. And I don't know, maybe they'll be motivated. Maybe they'll be a mess. Maybe they'll be in their feelings. Who knows? And the Clippers, despite the fact that Kawhi did not look great in overtime, played a really great game. He was great. Harden was awesome in overtime. Zubac showed up to play well.
That steal he had on Steph. Yeah.
Yes. So now, that's a series where it's you're right. You sold me in the manner of in like 15 seconds. Because
all these teams are good. All right, let me ask you this. Your team, the Thunder, the best team in, the West of the NBA, and you think that they're reasonably think they have I think you're kind of them versus the field. That's sort of a big debate that's been playing out at HQ.
Huh.
All the players and coaches don't think so. Yeah, let me do an what if question for you.
Yeah.
If the Warriors lose to Memphis in the 7 game and they win the 8
Which
game
would be
against
disastrous.
So let's say it's Thunder have to go through the Warriors and then they have to go through the winner of Clippers Denver. How much does that reduce your confidence in the Thunder getting through? Because that's bad news for the Warriors. It'd be bad news for Oklahoma City too.
I think it would be bad news for Oklahoma City, bad news for the Warriors, bad news for the NBA. I don't know that they want Oklahoma City and the Warriors in the first round, because now all of a sudden either the 1 seed and your potential MVP and SGA are out, or you lose Steph Curry after the first round. That would suck. Now, in my scenario where the Warriors had won today and they were playing the Lakers, and I'm like, oh man, how amazing that is. At least you're guaranteed to have either Luka and LeBron or Steph advance to the second round. But yeah, I mean, this is a minefield. It was always going to be. It really is. We should lavish some praise on the Clippers, though, right? I mean, Ty Lue, Bill, I don't remember where you and I had the Clippers. I'm pretty sure one or both of us in our preseason predictions had the Clippers in the play-in or missing the playoffs entirely.
I had them as my champion. Just kidding. I have disrespected them at every turn this year at their home arena. But a lot of that it was like they were cute, they were plucky, they were great on defense. But in fairness, in November, December, it was hard to believe that a team that was going to rely solely on Harden being great in the playoffs and this idea of a healthy Kawhi Leonard were going to do anything. But Harden was awesome in this game and has been awesome all year. He's been an all-NBA level player. And I don't really want to get my hopes up again that Kawhi Leonard's going to be able to play 1 or 2 or 3 series, whatever they could. But, man, if he can, they're good.
Did today change your mind about that at all? Because he looked fantastic at both ends of the floor. Again, a little quiet offensively, not a little bit. He was quiet offensively in overtime, and he missed a free throw that could have been critical, but then Draymond bricked that layup, so kind of like it evened out there. But he was good defensively throughout the entire game, and he has looked healthy.
So we talked about this last week. I think Brad and I would much rather play the Clippers. I don't want to play the Clippers in the first round because my confidence level, my confidence level in the Clippers is remarkably high, but it drops significantly with every series we go through. Because if you tell me I'm supposed to believe Kawhi Leonard playing every game of a playoff series is going to be healthy for 8 or 12 games, and I haven't seen it. It doesn't happen anymore.
What a remarkable turnaround it's been over this year, where I was kind of like a little bit of an early adopter on the Clippers after doubting them. You doubted them. And then now all of a sudden you're so hot for them. And I think like you're much higher on them than I am. I still probably lean. We don't have to do predictions. We're going to do it later on.
We can.
On CBS Sports HQ. I want to think about it too. And I want to look at numbers and whatnot. But I think if the choice is between Jokic and the drama in Denver and who knows what's happening there, or a Clippers team that traditionally is the Clippers, right? And for what you said, then you're also banking on Kawhi. I guess I'm leaning Joker.
I think I am too, but huge coaching advantage. I mean, you got a guy that's an untested coach in Denver against Ty Lue, who one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Yeah, and they're healthy, and I'm putting that in air quotes with Kawhi, but their defense has been so good all season long. Yeah,
unbelievable.
And Ty Lue is a fantastic coach and knows his way around. David Adelman is trying to figure out. I mean, he's been an assistant there for a while, but as a head coach, he's got to figure out where the bathroom is.
Right.
Producer Aaron wants to know trust level in Kawhi going into the playoffs 1 to 10. I don't even know. It would be off the board for me.
I mean, if it's in the next series, I'll give it a 6. If it's over the course of the entire playoffs, the idea the Clippers can, it's a 3, right? I mean, that he's going to be healthy in the next 2 weeks. Sure, he's going to be healthy in May, the end of May, if they play well enough. I don't know.
It's a lot to ask. I think that the reemergence of James Harden, who last year was a weird year for him. This year he's been fantastic this season.
Unbelievable.
And Bob Myers was calling it out on the broadcast. But I think it's really gone under the radar because the Clippers go under the radar. You and I both live in Los Angeles. They're the second team in Los Angeles by a million miles. And nationally, I don't even know where they would fall. right?
I think
And people, I'm not sure. I think some people, Bill, might be surprised. Casuals, like I was in Philadelphia over the last couple of days talking to some friends and family members and whatever. And I don't think a lot of people are clued into the fact that like the Clippers are a playoff team proper and like middle of the pack 4-5 matchup against Denver.
Can I make an obnoxious comment about the Clippers just to keep it going, just to be consistent with my entire coverage?
Brand.
They're the third team in LA because there's the Lakers, then whoever else is on television that night if the Lakers aren't playing, and then maybe the Clippers.
Right.
Or if the Warriors are playing, like my son Henry, I've been trying to get him to go to the Clippers' beautiful arena,
awesome
and
arena.
he wears Steph stuff, he wears Lakers stuff, and I tried because it's close to our house. Just, hey man, do you want to be a Clippers fan? And he looked at me like I was an alien. I mean, there's no. He goes, Dad, the Clippers aren't cool, which is that's the thing, man.
They're not cool, but they are fun. And I would like to sell Henry on that. Maybe we'll have him on the show at some point to discuss this. Producer Aaron said, in terms of like what the hottest team in town is, it's the Lakers and the Dodgers and the Kings and USC Sports, and you got a long list before you finally arrive.
They're just ahead of the Angels, who aren't even an LA team.
Yeah, right. They're way outside. Let's take a quick break, and then on the other side, we have to discuss the Warriors, what happened with Jimmy Butler, whether or not he's going to be out there. They're playing on Tuesday. They've slipped to the play-in. They've got the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have their own issues going on, and then all of these playoff seeds are set, so we'll go through them with the OKC matchup and the Lakers matchup, and we'll go through all of that, and we'll also get into the Eastern Conference and the play-ins. That's coming up. This is Beyond the Arc.
Baby, we are gonna start a fire.
From world-renowned clubs
simply devastating
to worldwide stars.
Wrexham have done it. This incredible ride continues.
The English Football League on CBS Sports Network, and stream every match live on Paramount Plus.
All right, welcome back to Beyond the Arc on the final day of the regular season. The playoff seedings are set. Reminder, you can find us wherever you get your favorite podcast. Please download, subscribe, leave a review. And if you're listening on Spotify, look below the play button on the Spotify app in full screen mode. You can leave us a comment or question about the show. All right, the Warriors side of this, Bill. This was the big game. Obviously, it went to overtime. It determined who was going to be in the playoffs. The Clippers are now the 5 seed. The Warriors slip into the play-in. That has to be a disappointment for them, up to and including the fact that Jimmy Butler, who's been amazing for them, took a knee to the thigh, to his knee. He was limping really heavily at the end of the game. Yeah, we don't have any information on that.
Kawhi went into him. Yeah,
went right into him. Kawhi, as Bob Myers noted on the broadcast, big dude. That's a lot of impact to take. Producer Aaron, if you see any updates on Jimmy or they give any more info, drop it into the chat and let us know. In the meantime, Bill, slipping to that 7 seed, they're going to host the Grizzlies on Tuesday. They have to turn around right away and get back after it. Steve Kerr had said that the team is exhausted, that they've been basically playing playoff basketball games for 2 months since they got Jimmy Butler, because don't forget, when they got Jimmy Butler, they were under 500, and then they went on a heater and nobody wanted to play him. Now, big question marks. One, the play-in is a crapshoot, man. Like they could lose that game to the Grizzlies. Could totally happen. Now, all of a sudden, you're white knuckle in the last game.
Can we also note, by the way, the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins on March 28th. It feels like 5 years ago with all the things that have happened.
Forever ago.
But it wasn't that long ago, and they're the 8 seed now. Well done. I'm just gonna say, well done, Memphis. Like, don't let that go under the radar, America.
That we're headed for Tuesday. And by the way, on Tuesday, we're going to be live on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube on Tuesday night after Warriors and Grizzlies, that we expect will be a very good game. Obviously, a critical game. We'll be live on YouTube. You can find us at Beyond the Arc CBS to discuss that. But Bill, what a topsy-turvy season this has been. And if you had said to me that the Grizzlies and the Warriors would have ended up as the 7-8, I don't know,
unbelievable,
2 weeks ago when Taylor Jenkins was still the coach, I would have said, no way, man. Those two teams are in the playoffs.
I mean, and it's the thing is, so now I'm going to disrespect somebody else, your team. You have 21 favorite teams, but one of your 21 favorite teams.
That's fair.
I don't want to be in the play-in. I don't want to be in the play-in.
No.
But whoever wins that game, I love playing the Rockets, and I love not being on the side of the bracket that the Thunder are on. So between the Warriors and the Grizzlies, I really if Golden State wins the play-in game, the rest is significance. They really need to win on Tuesday so they can just stop worrying about having to play games and get a little bit of rest, especially depending on what Jimmy's about. But dude, if the Warriors win that game against Memphis, I love their path if Jimmy's healthy.
I love it less. I think the
I know
Warriors
you do.
Rockets would be a fantastic series. I don't think that it's a gimme for the Warriors by any stretch. And then on the other side, yeah, I
But
guess
there's no gimmies. There's no
yeah,
gimme. I mean,
there's definitely
there's
no
no gimmies.
gimmies in the West.
That's the best match. I would rather play the Rockets in the first round than any other team that is going to be in the first round of the playoffs, as we understand
You'd
it.
rather have them, rather have the Rockets than the Clippers, rather have the Rockets
Yes.
than the Wolves.
Yes. The Lakers, Denver. Yes.
I would put Denver is such a hard one to parse.
Did you see
right
Jokic
now
tonight though? He's just like, all right, I'll just.
Yeah, but they didn't play
I know.
anybody.
I know. But dude, you see what he can do. I mean,
yeah. Oh, he's incredible.
mean,
this is why no matter what we do, we're gonna do our prediction show. We're gonna do our preview show, and it's going to be really difficult to decide who we're going with. I mean, we'll see who comes out of the 7-8 matchup. The 9-10 matchup has been set for a while. We don't really need to get into that. Let's discuss some of the other matchups in the Western Conference. We've got 3-6 Wolves. I mean, you have been pretty bullish on the Wolves. I have been pretty consistently a believer in just like the power of Luka and LeBron. I think this will be a good series. I've got advantage Lakers though.
I think it's advantage Lakers. I mean, here's the thing. I've said this a lot, and I'm looking over here at the bracket. I think every team other than Houston for me has a ceiling that is a legitimate, reasonable path to a conference finals. And it depends sort of your temperature on the Thunder and how certain you think they are. But I'll probably take the Lakers. I haven't really looked at the numbers or thought about it or talked to people, but the Timberwolves can win. Timberwolves can absolutely win that series.
Aaron wants to, while you're mentioning Houston and Houston ceiling, wants to know if you'd rather play Houston than Memphis.
Well, what I said was teams that we know are in the first round right now.
Playoffs proper.
So yeah. So I'm excluding Memphis from that because they're not a guaranteed first round team. Yeah,
that's
if
fair
it was
enough.
Memphis Rockets. I don't know. I'll probably take Houston, and that's it. But I don't know.
It's tough to get you to come around on the Rockets. I thought like their run towards the regular season where they like locked
they
up.
They can't score, dude.
But they can put other teams in hell with their defense.
You love teams that can't score.
You
were on Orlando, and as soon as Orlando kind of fell off, you're like, took all that love for teams that can't score, and you transferred it to
I put it on
Houston.
I can't. You know what? I can't help myself when it comes to Amen Thompson. It's just that kid alone just makes me a believer in the Rockets. And then, Şengün and Jalen Green's had a glow up year, and like they just have a lot of really good, useful pieces. And I'm a believer in Ime too as a coach. He's a really good coach.
I'm 100% in on Houston's future. I'm 1,000% in on in the next year or two or three. I just don't know if right now. John's favorite team is the Warriors when Steph is off the floor. You do. You love. Well, yeah. By the way, like Mister, you really like to like get on, like put stock in these teams and then bring it up later, which I love about you because I do the same thing. Where's your Orlando love? Like, how much time do we spend having you talk about the Magic
conference? I'm out on the Magic, and I think I'm going to go Hawks in that game, but we'll discuss that.
Oh my God!
For the between these matchups that we actually know right now, because obviously we're waiting to see who comes out of the play-in, and again playing 7-8 matchup between the Warriors and the Grizz on Tuesday, which is just horrible news for the Warriors, because I mean, again, but like, where do you go with Kerr saying that they're exhausted and they've been playing playoff basketball for the last 2 months? On the one hand, there's a school of thought that we're playoff tested, and we know what we're looking at, and the intensity's ratcheted it up, and Kuminga could barely even crack the rotation. Like, we know what we're doing. Kerr has decided to shorten the rotation, and they're ready to go. On the other hand, they got another game on Tuesday, and Jimmy Butler's limping around, and then at some point you are going to be tired.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Kerr. I'm not. I don't think Kerr is the antichrist of the NBA the way that producer Aaron does for whatever. But come on, man, everybody's tired. I just severe eye roll. Everyone's exhausted. It's a long season, and at least in the Western Conference, everyone's been battling, which has been really fun for us for the last couple of weeks. So I don't really care. I don't. I mean, they're tired. Cool. Like, great story, dude. You think the Nuggets, the Clippers, and the Timberwolves aren't exhausted? Come on.
That's going to be a fantastic playing game on Tuesday. Wednesday, do you want to talk about Kings Mavs, or you just want to skip over that one?
I mean, my only thing I want to say about that is I really hope that whichever team wins that game doesn't go on a mini heater and beat Memphis or the Warriors, because the Mavs aren't very good and the Kings aren't very good, and I don't want them to advance to the playoffs. But I don't really care who wins the 8th seed game. Do you? I don't care.
No, not really, because I think you're going to get steamrolled in the Western Conference by the Oklahoma City Thunder, unless it's the Warriors, at which point all bets are out the window or off or whatever the metaphor is. Because as you mentioned, like Oklahoma City and Golden State, like I think it would be tremendous fun for all of us. I think the NBA would be not thrilled about it.
I mean, if you have a healthy Jimmy, obviously the Thunder are the team you're taking, but they can push them. They can make that hard and make that miserable. And yeah, I mean, the best outcome is Warriors win the game against Memphis.
Yes.
They beat Houston. The Lakers beat the Timberwolves. And then the NBA, from the NBA's perspective, is guaranteed LeBron or Steph in the conference finals.
Yes.
Like that's, and we get a second round series like that.
Entertainment wise, that would be tremendous entertainment. Before we move on from the Western Conference, of the series that we know are going to happen between Nuggets and Clippers and Lakers and Wolves, which one do you think provides the greater entertainment value for us? I mean, you made a compelling case for Nuggets and Clips.
So I'll say this about the Timberwolves. They made the conference finals last year. They are a top 9 offense and they're 9th and 6th in offensive and defensive rating. They have a superstar in Anthony Edwards who is absolutely capable of taking over games and handling the limelight. I know the Lakers have been great. I know they haven't been that. They've been middle of the pack offensively and defensively since it's like 14 and 17 last I looked yesterday. In terms of offensive rating and defensive rating since Luka got traded. So they win and Austin Reeves has become great, but I both series are captivating because I think any of those 4 teams, Nuggets against Clippers and Lakers against T-Wolves, anybody can win each of those 2 series. It's going to be they're going to be 6 or 7 games.
Just in terms of star value, I'll go with Lakers and Wolves just because you have really compelling players in Ant and Luka and LeBron. The question that I have is like styles make fights, right? The matchup here. I was asked on HQ recently, do I have any concern? What's my one concern? I think is the way that they phrased it about the Lakers. And I was like, it's the same concern that everybody's had for a while, which is they have no front court. Like, what do they? They have no center. They have a half of Jackson Hayes, and that's about it. And so, as producer Aaron points out, it's going to be really interesting to see the Wolves, who you know, they've been up and down all season, but the one thing they definitely do have is size. And the Lakers decided a while ago, screw it, we're just going to go with, Rui and LeBron, and we're going to throw a bunch of Dorian Finney-Smith out there and Jared Vanderbilt. And like our front line isn't super big, but the rest of their team, like 1 through 4 is like beefy enough, right? It's not like super tall, traditional big men, but it's going to be a very interesting, like how are they going to use their rotations for both sides? Yeah.
Yeah. The more that you're talking about it, then and again, we're not doing a prediction show, but
not yet.
The less inclined I am to rubber stamp the Lakers when we get to it.
I'm almost certainly rubber stamping it. But,
I can tell.
But I do. No, you're right. It's a non-zero chance that the Wolves win that one. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And then on the other side, Bill, did you know that the Eastern Conference exists? There's matchups there to discuss as well. We'll do that on the other side. And we'll also do a team of the night. That's coming up. This is Beyond the Arc. All right, welcome back to Beyond the Arc. You can find us on YouTube at Beyond the Arc CBS. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that bell symbol. You'll get notified when we go live. Lot of live shows coming up, including starting on Tuesday night following the 7-8 play-in games. As we mentioned, it's going to be the Warriors and the Grizzlies. They're probably not thrilled with that. It's going to be a great game. We'll talk about it afterwards. Come and join us. Eastern Conference, Bill, we can skip over the Celtics and the Cavs for now. The 3-6 and the 4-5, oddly compelling to me. 3-6 matchup with the Knicks.
Are they?
Pistons. I'm really looking forward to Knicks and Pistons. One, because the Pistons have been on my radar for much of the season. They've been a super fun team. They play great defense. Cade Cunningham has been a revelation. I thought that JB has done a great job. He should get some love for coach of the year, although he's not going to. And Bill, by the way, they won the season series against the Knicks 3-1.
Look, I'm going to be the Debbie Downer here. I love that I love your optimism. They're somewhat compelling, but I don't believe either whatever teams win those series are going to have a chance against Cleveland or Boston. That's why it doesn't feel as tantalizing. But I guess in a vacuum, I mean, I like watching Doc Rivers teams lose. Like, I'm not going to pretend otherwise. That's a real thing in that Pacers series. Knicks Pistons is interesting just because what is the fallout? Is there a coaching consequence if the Knicks lose in the first round? I mean, that is the interest, and they can. Pistons defense is extraordinary, and we've talked about this a lot, and Brad and I talked about it. The Knicks are supposed to be championship contenders. They're not, but that's the pressure they carry. The Pistons, it's all gravy, baby. It's all house money. And so they can play loose and they can play free. I think they're dangerous against New York.
I do too. And that's why I'm interested in that series. I think, like, look, whoever comes out of the ends up being the 8 seed and plays the Cavs, who cares? Whoever ends up being the 7 seed and plays the Celtics, that's going to be low on my priority list. If we were ranking series, I'd probably have every Western Conference series ranked before I even got to the East. But once I got to the East, it would for sure be Knicks Pistons for exactly what you said. The Pistons are playing with house money. Their vibes are fantastic. Everybody in Detroit is super excited about this team and their prospects moving forward. And the Knicks are looking around going, man, we have to get to the second round. We have to play the Celtics. And once we do, we're probably going to lose that. We're definitely not going to be the favorites in that series, but we have to at least get out of the first round, because if they gave up 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, and they won the cat trade, no doubt about it, but they reorganized their team and they don't have a lot of ways to improve the team again moving forward. Now, all of a sudden, what happens? I mean, look, Tibbs is beloved, but you're not going to move on from Leon Rose this soon. So, like, does somebody's head roll, or they could just go, okay, that sucks. What are we going to do? We're going to bring Tibbs back and, like, see how it goes. I don't know, man. That would be a disastrous outcome for the Knicks, who had hugely high expectations this season.
You also can't move on from, in my opinion, Leon, because look, the Knicks have been a debacle for a long, long time. And while they're not a championship contender, and he probably spent too much to build this team, at least they're somewhat relevant. By the way, do you see this? You want to read this comment? Because I'd like to.
I mean, we want to encourage everybody to join us on YouTube and leave comments. I'll read the comment. It's a comment from a commenter named Only Morale that says the Knicks are going to beat the Pistons easily, and the only thing that the Pistons have going for them is that Cade can drop 40 points. Not really. I mean, they also have an incredible defense, and they won the series 3-1. I don't know. I mean, look, maybe you're a Knicks fan and you're very optimistic about your team, and I don't blame you for it. It's been a fun season. If I were a Knicks fan, God bless, I'm not, although the alternative isn't any better, I wouldn't feel good about this series coming in. I would be nervous.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't either. I again, we're not doing the predictions thing, but I don't think the Knicks are a lock here. By the way, the Knicks can't. They not only they have to win this series. I think in order for this season to be successful, they've got to. They got to push Boston to at least 6.
At least 6.
Like a good 6.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. It can't be like a backdoor 6 where they get one on the back. Like they're up 3-1 and they win a game and it goes to 6 games after that. I would not feel good about that. What about Pacers Bucks? The Bucks. Look, I've been down on the Bucks. You've been up on the Pacers. Bucks won that season series 3-1.
I mean, Indy's playing incredible basketball since the trade deadline, since January 1, since mid-December. I mean, they just sort of. If you exclude their first couple months, they're one of the best teams in the NBA by every metric. They're not good enough. There's no team in the East that's good enough to compete with the Cavs and Boston, I think. But I love them against Milwaukee. I'm not high on Milwaukee. So
I'm not high on Milwaukee either. Is there any pause in the fact that Milwaukee won the season series?
No, don't care. Don't. I'd love to know the dates. I mean, I'll look at them later. I'd love to know sort of when some of those games
who was available
and who was available. By the way, I know that we're not a golf podcast, and I'm not a big golf guy, but apparently Rory McIlroy's soul is leaving. Do you know? I'm getting nonstop texts from just strangers about Rory.
You know
McIlroy.
what? I'm not a golf guy. I have seen the push alerts. I saw all the traffic on social media. I was so invested in Clippers and Warriors that I was just kind of aware that it was happening, but I'm sure that it's quite entertaining. East playing. I'm not going to make you focus on this because it's ridiculous. And yes, I did like watching the Magic earlier in the season because
you did.
I enjoyed some grinded out defense. I think the Hawks, I'll probably end up picking the Hawks in that one. I am though, however, as we talk about entertainment value, Bill, and some of these series being oddly compelling, the 9-10 matchup between the Bulls and the Heat is interesting to me because the Bulls have been playing really good basketball. They're fun. As I mentioned, I have a friend in Chicago who you grew up in that area. And he was like, look, I'm not sure what Karnisovas is going to do with these contracts. And Giddey, I don't know how he didn't get any picks for him. And, we'll see what happens. He goes, I don't care. It's just fun to watch them play basketball right now. Kobe White has been awesome. Mattis Buzelis has been awesome. Giddey has been awesome. They've won 3 in a row and 7 of the last 10.
They are fun.
Heat, on the other side, We were talking about what a disaster it would be if the Knicks don't get out of the first round. What if the Heat don't get out of the play-in?
Well, let me see that disaster and give you another one.
Okay.
What if the Warriors, who have never won a play-in game, lose both their play-in games and the Heat make the playoffs? I mean,
oh no, I hadn't considered this for even independent of the Heat component, Bill. If the Warriors, who everybody has been talking about, you and I and everybody else who's been watching this, and again, they have the best defense since the trade deadline, since they got Jimmy Butler. They've been fantastic. Steph Curry has been a supernova scoring the basketball. If they somehow, and this could happen because it's just one game and one game, if they crash out of the play-in and they don't even make the playoffs, that's a disaster for that organization. And it's further a disaster for the NBA because you lose out on Steph and Jimmy and Draymond in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a scenario, there's a world where it exists.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to happen either, but Memphis is a good basketball team, and they've been really sort of inconsistent, but they have, it's one game. So if the Warriors go to the 8 game, I don't know, man. Like, if you're the Mavs or the Kings, all you're playing for is to ruin the Warriors season. That's all you have to live for.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. I think that whatever happens on Tuesday, that the Warriors will end up getting out of the play in one way or the other. But yes, that would be a disaster scenario. What about though with the Heat? Because the Heat have had a weird year. It's just drama filled. They had to get rid of Jimmy, and they always have expectations in Miami. And Riles thinks that they're a premier organization in the NBA, and they are to an extent. But now they're banking on, at least for right now, short term, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, and those are very good players. You have an Olympian and you have a first-time All-Star, and like those are good players, but they're clearly not enough to just be like the guys right now.
You said they are good players. They are not great players. I think it's almost better for Miami if they give up the ghost and lose.
Everybody goes home.
They won 37 games. And look, I like the people in Miami. I covered that team full-time many years ago. I still know a lot of those people and talk to them. So I say this with respect and affection, but candor. There's a sort of a cultish delusion sometimes about Pat Riley and about the Heat culture. It's always going to win. Yeah, it's always going to win. And I was thinking about this morning. And look, you can't win championships ever without talent. But I mean, Jimmy Butler's pretty amazing. I mean, how much of like the last few years was just Jimmy Butler being a member of the Heat? Because without him and the sort of moves they made, they're not very good. And so maybe a little. I'm not sure what it takes for a wake-up call for Pat Riley to accept that maybe some change is necessary and a new approach to not alienate your stars. Whatever the behind-the-scenes realities, he alienated LeBron James. He alienated Dwayne Wade when Dwayne wasn't the same player when he went to Chicago, but he still did. And he alienated Jimmy Butler. And so the Heat are a bad team that are going to get smoked by Cleveland, right? They play Cleveland either way. If they win 2 games, right. Just get humiliated against a really fun-loving Bulls team that has Chicago weirdly excited, and maybe have a little dark midnight of the soul so that next year Miami starts running their basketball operations more effectively.
I am all in on the Bulls when we do our prediction show. When we do just for my purposes, for my buddies' purposes, they're fun, and I would like to see these other teams, the Hawks, the Magic, the Heat. The Hawks and the Magic are just kind of bland, and the Heat, for all the reasons that you just outlined, are kind of a little bit of a mess. The Bulls are a positive story for once, and it's been a long time since Chicago Bulls fans have had anything positive in their life, and so I want nice things for them.
It's funny you say that because a friend of mine who's a mentor now runs whatever the 24-hour sports station is that airs. They air Bulls games, they air White Sox games, they air Blackhawks games, whatever. And he's been blowing my phone up about how I think people are watching Bulls games again.
People are back into
it. People are like, you know what? And it's a good lesson. And I'm speaking to you, John Gonzalez, and your Orlando Magic love and your Houston Rockets love. It's kind of like soccer. Sometimes it's not just winning; it's how you play. The Bulls are actually playing joyous, fun basketball. That counts for something.
Well, I would like that noted in the ledger of John only likes defensive basketball because the Bulls are an offensive team, and I love Kobe White, and I love watching Mattis Bazaars has been fun, and like Josh Giddey, I was a super Josh Giddey hater, and I have to give him credit, man. He's been really good for this team. So, okay, before we wrap this up, a couple other points here, Bill, before we do Team of the Night as well. I just wanted to run this past you. You're not a Chris Paul guy, noted, but you have noted that he's a good player. Okay,
he's amazing.
He did something here. He made some history. This is his 20th season. He started all 82 games. He turns 40 in less than a month. The last time that happened, actually, this is the deepest into a player's career that's ever happened, that somebody in his 20th season has started all 82 games. The previous record was held by John Stockton, who did it in his 19th and final season. So pretty remarkable. Chris Paul's still out there.
Look, man, Chris Paul is one of the 4 or 5 best point guards in the history of the game, and maybe I'm being way too conservative in that ranking.
Yeah, you might be. I don't know.
I might be. And the thing about CP3 is that he loves to hoop, right? He loves basketball so much, and you don't play the number of games at the age that he's at on a Spurs team that was never playing. They're playing for more than we thought, but obviously once Wemby went down, that went away. Unless you just love the game, and so good for him, man, because he doesn't have much time left. So I love that thing that he loves. He's able to sort of hold on to and do a little bit longer.
I wonder if he'll come back next season. I mean, we spent a lot of time this year, and rightly so.
I think he said he wants to.
I think he should. If he wants to, he should. But we spent a lot of time this season, and rightly so, lauding LeBron for doing what he's doing at 40 years old. Now, obviously, Chris Paul did not have a LeBron James season. He was second banana to obviously Wemby, and Stephon Castle has come on, and they've got some nice young pieces. And his lift wasn't as heavy as LeBron is, and also LeBron's body is bigger, and like there's just a lot more going on there. And Chris Paul can he already is sort of playing the slow-mo game, but to be almost 40 years old and to start all 82 games, pretty impressive. Let's wrap it up with team of the night. Are we picking the same team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be self-evident that it's the Clippers, right?
Yeah.
That what in the end, obviously, it turned out that was the pre-playoff game, and what a win in overtime.
Kudos to the Clippers, who nobody believed in, including everybody in Los Angeles. Only, I guess, the people who play for the Clippers, work for the organization. A hell of a season. They open up the Intuit Dome. When PG left and last season didn't work out, and you and I were like, man, I guess they have to re-sign James Harden, right? Because you've got this new building and you got to get people into it. And like, you're probably not going to have Kawhi for a lot of the season. What are you even going to get out of him? They didn't have him for the beginning of the season, Bill. And yet, despite all of these things swirling, fantastic season for them. That's a win. Ballmer's got to be giddy. 5 seed and you open a new building, I'll take it all day long.
How do you feel about every time Paul George leaves an organization, that organization almost always improves? I mean,
well, before we came on, Daryl Morey announced that both Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse will be back next season.
I like how he announced his own return.
Yeah, and
I was decided not to fire myself.
So we'll see if he works some Daryl Morey magic, and if Paul George returns, I suspect that he will, but non-zero chance that something else happens. All right, if you want more talk about the playoffs and the brackets and the seeding and all that being said, Bill and I are going to be on CBS Sports HQ coming up at 8:30 Eastern tonight. So come and join us for that. If not, we'll be back on YouTube on Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday night following the 7-8 game as well. You can join us over there at Beyond the Arc CBS.
I think we're on cable Tuesday, right? I think we're on CBS Sports Network Tuesday.
You're right. Tuesday morning is CBS Sports Network. You're right. CBS Sports Network on Tuesday morning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and then Tuesday night we will be on YouTube. There's just a lot of basketball to keep track of here, Bill. We're basically going to be on all the time. Come and join us whenever we're on. But after the play-in game, will be on YouTube at Beyond the Arc CBS. There we go. Okay, so for our NBA insider, Bill Reiter, I'm John Gonzalez. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. The playoffs are here. We'll see you Tuesday morning.